Okay, so you want to protect your online privacy. Well, it's easy, just use a VPN, right? It hides your traffic, it encrypts it and prevents tracking, right? And with all the ads, especially on YouTube, that keep shoving down these facts our throat, and I just don't want these, which is why I'm doing this, and this is my office as we're just going off on a tangent. Anyway, with all of them repeating these promises, there's no way they would be lying to us, right? I mean, it's on the internet. No one lies on the internet. I mean, of course, it's all nonsense, and we're going to explore that in a tiny bit. Now, first of all, let me make one thing clear, and if that's the only thing you take away from this video, that's good enough. A VPN does not hide your traffic, it does not encrypt your traffic, and it does certainly not prevent others from tracking you. There are some things it can do, and not everything is a lie, but we'll look at that in a second. But first, let's talk about how the internet works at all, right? So you use your device, your phone, your computer, whatever, to use some online service like checking your emails, chatting, downloading a file, going on pages you don't want to admit to others that you're going on to. Anyway, you're doing those things, and what happens is that your computer sends a so-called package through the wire to a series of servers which pass it on to the target server, and the target server will then respond with packages and answering your query or whatever request you have. Now, that happens regardless if we use a VPN or not. So, how does a VPN come into this? A VPN is basically a proxy server that sits between you and the target web page. So, instead of sending the information through a series of servers to the target platform, you're sending it through a series of servers to the VPN server, and that then sends it to the target platform, which then sends it back to that VPN server, which sends it back to you. Now, if the page itself is tracking you, then they will do that anyway through cookies or your user account, because if you're logged in, the page knows who's using it. And it does not encrypt your messages at all from the perspective of the target platform. Now, it encrypts it between you and the VPN server, but no further. And it also doesn't hide your traffic, because anyone that can see the VPN server or the traffic leaving the VPN server sees your traffic. Now, it can mask it to some degree, but all you did is shift your trust from your internet service provider to your VPN provider. They can see the exact same things your ISP provider could have seen otherwise. Is that a game? I don't know. I probably would trust my ISP more than a random VPN service. Mostly because I live in a country where accountability and laws around data privacy exist, and if the ISP wants to stay in business, they have to kind of follow those rules. Doesn't mean some sketchy stuff doesn't happen every now and then, but that's how it is. If the connection, on the other hand, between you and the service is already encrypted because it's using HTTPS or some other encrypted format, then neither your ISP, nor the VPN, nor anyone else, in theory, if there are exceptions, can read that message anyway. They could only read the address. Admittedly, that is something you could derive some profile over a user, but honestly, anyone that is interested in you can also look at your browsing history, and no, deleting it doesn't help you. Okay, so what are VPNs used for? Well, for me as a software engineer, architect, whatever, they have actually many uses, but for the general user, the only real use case is if you're in a public network. and you need to encrypt it, because let's say you are on your phone in a public cafe with a Wi-Fi unprotected. In theory, anyone can read the messages on the network you're sending to the router and to the page, especially if it's not an encrypted one. And a VPN would help you there, because it would encrypt it between your phone and the VPN service, which would protect you from creepy Steve and the next desk over. But that's about it, right? So, just wanted to rant a bit. Oh, and geo-locked content to get around that. Yes, you can do that with a VPN, but at best that's legally grey, and at worst it's straight up illegal. I'm not going to tell you to not do that, but if you're going to use it, be assured that a VPN does not help you with hiding who you are. It only allows you to do it. Why? Well, if you log into Netflix or whatever streaming site you use and you change your geolocation, you're still logged in with your account. And there are technologies and methods for them to actually detect that you're using a VPN. And they probably know from your user statistics in which country you usually are. And if you jump in seconds from Europe to the States to China or wherever, they know you're using a VPN. And that violates their terms of service. So, Anyway, now the rant's over, and I guess like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you want me to rant about something random. And I'm going to make some more reviews of papers. I want to present the NEAT algorithm, which is a genetic algorithm applied to neural networks. Find it interesting. Completely useless, but interesting. So stick around if you want to see that. Bye.